thought was leaked evidence of the activities of a Russian troll farm. But the lead turned out to be far from concrete. Murat Gaziev joined me earlier with the details.
Bild rushed into this one. They thought they had a real bombshell on their hands. They thought that they would incite a national scandal, a huge political scandal. Basically what happened is they got these allegedly leaked emails which involved the socialists, the SPD, specifically their youth wing leader, Kevin Kühne, who was allegedly talking to a Russian bot factory, to a Russian agent who introduced himself as Yuri. What they were talking about, according to the email exchange, is the SPD, Kevin Kühne, is running a campaign against forming a coalition government with Angela Merkel's own party. It's called the GrowCo campaign. And the Russian Yuri allegedly offered to use the use of his bots. He'd sell the SPD his bots to sway public opinion in Germany and derail this effort to build a coalition. It would be, this would be a huge story. The first direct evidence of Russia meddling in Germany's politics. We've got the exchange itself, and honestly, it's something out of a spy movie, a tacky one at that. But here are some bits from it.
Dear Kevin, I'm Yuri. I'd like to talk to you about supporting your No GrowCo campaign.
Thanks for your mail. Jay already told me to expect a mail from you. But just to be sure, could you name me Jay's favourite beverage? As you can certainly understand, this is a delicate matter.
Mio Mate Ginger.
Dear Yuri, perfect, that's a relief. So what can you offer me?
Basically, we can offer you everything. An opinion campaign with bots against Schultz, social bots on Twitter and Facebook, or even a targeted Facebook advertising campaign.
I think a targeted advertising campaign on Facebook would be appreciated by the No GrowCo movement. How much money would you invest in these ads?
We've already roughly calculated the campaign and expect to pay around 4,000 to 5,000 euros. We've included the social bots. Don't worry, we'll pay from Frankfurt. The payment will not be traceable.
Hi Yuri. Sounds good. I'll collect the data for the Facebook audience and send all the information to you soon, so you can launch the campaign immediately. As long as it looks like Jusos pay for the ads, I'm not worried.
Looking forward.
There you go.
Bild went into this swinging. They had a huge picture on the front page with the title, New Dirt on the SPD. Bild is very anti-SPD, so it's no surprise, they dived into the story. That was on Friday. Yeah. That was on Friday. By Wednesday, satirists from the Titanic satirical magazine revealed that they were behind the entire email exchange. They faked the entire thing, and they left Bild red-faced because many news outlets had seen this exchange. German news outlets, they had thought, well, this is a little bit suspicious, a little bit suspect.
Rejected it then,
exactly.
Yeah?
Bild had no such reservations. It emerged that the email address that this email exchange attributed to Kevin Kühne, the leader of the SPD's youth wing, was fake. You can't send emails from this email address, and his real email address ends with spd.de. So they failed to carry out basic checks and verifications. So Bild was left red-faced, and now they're saying themselves. They issued a statement on Facebook on their website. They're saying that this just goes to show Bild's agenda.
An anonymous email, 2 or 3 calls, and Bild prints everything that fits its agenda.
Well, Titanic has also been online on Twitter. They're milking this for all it's worth. On Twitter, the hashtag MioMioGate, Mate Ginger, of course, being the drink, the password drink mentioned in the email exchange. So, you know, they're having a good laugh on Twitter at Bild these days. And what's more, Bild, while admitting that the email exchange was fake, they're still trying to defend themselves. They're saying that, you know, they're trying to grasping at straws, saying that this email exchange originated from the SPD's servers and whatnot. But a good laugh had all around.
Well, for more on the story, I'm very happy to say that we're joined live on the programme by Marit Swertgen, editor at Titanic magazine, who, as we just heard, came up with the idea for the prank. You're very welcome. Did you ever imagine that the prank would work? You know, this is one of the most read, if not the most read newspaper in Germany, yet they ran your story without a lot of fact-checking.
Yes, like you said, Bild is a tabloid magazine, and we at Titanic, as a satirical magazine, we work with the same methods as Bild. So we knew how to think like a Bild editor, and what we did was we came up with a story that was tacky and like in a spy movie, as you just said, and we had a good feeling that this would work, especially with Bild. As they already ran a campaign against the SPD, the Social Democratic Party, which Kevin Kühnert is a part of.
What was your intent in carrying out the prank in the first place?
Our intent was to spin this story more further. You know, there seems to be no election in the past years where there wasn't talk of Russian meddling or interference. But this SPD voting, which is now evident in Germany, about whether they go into the coalition with Merkel or not, there were no rumors about Russian meddling, and we thought this cannot be. We have to make an alliance with the Bild tabloid and push a story about Russian meddling, and as we see now, it works perfectly.
Yeah, just on that point, what was your purpose in choosing Russian trolls? Is there a thirst for anti-Russian stories fueling this? Is it so that it's there in society that people want to read about this, whether or not it's true is perhaps a secondary thing?
Yes, I think there's people want this story to be true, at least the editors at Bild. Because Russian trolls are interesting, just like in James Bond movies, which are very successful in Germany as well. So we just thought it was a good story, and yeah, I think it worked out perfectly.
There are other newspapers, of course, who saw the fake links in this, particularly the email thing, but Bild did not do that and pushed ahead with what they thought was going to be an exclusive story. Is that why you think they did that? Because the thirst for exclusive, to get there first, you know, encompasses is much more important than the actual details, the facts, in other words?
Yes, I think so. We knew what we had to put in this story to make it interesting for Bild. And when there's a story like that for Bild, they don't care about details. It's only interesting if the story is good. And it was a good story indeed. And it was, yeah, like a good movie. I hope it will be made into a movie sometime. Yeah,
you said you thought like Bild editors would think. Do you think that they're prone to things like this happening in the future? Perhaps a newspaper like this and perhaps other tabloids or other media in the country perhaps take things at face value that need a little bit more checking in the future?
I think I don't think this will happen again, because Bild already did it, and I think other newspapers and media will do better fact-checking. But I'm very glad about this story, because I think we can all learn from this. And I'm very happy now to speak to a Russian TV station, because I think if people in Russia or at the Kremlin want information about how to deal with German newspapers, they can contact us. We're very cheap, just a few bitcoins, and we give everything away.
Yeah, it's particularly with the value of bitcoins going up and down, you might be very good value. Eh? Just finally, do you think German people are actually, are they getting a little bit more savvy to things that are perhaps fake news or not fake news, and things like this, particularly the fallout from this, because Bild has been criticised for doing this, for just going ahead without the correct fact-checking. Do you think the German people are happy with that they've now been caught out?
I think no. I think the readers of Bild, just like the editors at Bild, they're hopeless cases, so you can't help them. I don't think anyone will learn anything, neither we at Titanic, nor the people at Bild, or German politicians, or the German people. But it was a good laugh now, and I think that's worth something.
Yeah, and thanks for coming on the programme and sharing your view on this. It certainly was good for a headline or two, wasn't it? Moritz Hurtgen, editor at Titanic magazine, a satirical newspaper.